rumor that broke the internet, Eala's secret engagement, the Dubai proposal, and why the whole world won't stop talking about her love life. It started with a single post. No press conference, no dramatic headline, no carefully timed announcement designed to trend on a Friday afternoon. Just a quiet upload, the kind that millions of people scroll past every single day without blinking. But this one was different. Within minutes of it going live, something shifted. Phones started lighting up. Notifications started stacking. Fans who hadn't spoken to each other in months were suddenly flooding comment sections, tagging their friends, sharing screenshots, debating captions that may or may not have even said what people thought they said. And just like that, without a single confirmed word from anyone who actually knew the truth, the entire tennis world found itself chasing one rumor. Eala, engaged. It sounded almost impossible. It sounded too good, too dramatic, too perfectly timed for the moment she was living in. And maybe that's exactly why it spread so fast, because this wasn't just gossip. It felt like the next chapter of a story that millions of people had already emotionally invested in. And when you've been following someone the way her fans have been following Alex, even a rumor hits differently. It hits like news. But here is where the story gets genuinely fascinating and a little wild. Because the chaos that followed didn't come from a verified source. It didn't come from her team. It didn't come from a trusted journalist with receipts. It came from interpretation. It came from assumption. It came from fans doing what fans do best, connecting dots that may never have been meant to form a picture. And the speed of it, the sheer unstoppable momentum of how quickly it spiraled, that part tells you everything you need to know about where Eala stands right now in the public eye. Hashtags started trending globally. Sports pages were rushing to get something, anything, posted before their competitors. Comment sections filled up with congratulations before anyone had actually confirmed that there was anything to congratulate. Some fans were already celebrating a relationship milestone that, for all anyone knew, didn't exist. Others were digging through months of old photos, looking for clues, looking for hints, looking for the moment they might have missed it. The entire internet had transformed into a detective agency, and the case file was a 20-year-old tennis player from the Philippines who had spent the past year quietly becoming one of the most talked-about athletes on the planet. And if you really want to understand why this rumor hit the way it did, you had to go back a few weeks earlier to a moment that felt light and fun at the time, but planted something in the public imagination that never quite went away. Dubai. A packed stadium at the WTA 1000 Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships. Flags waving, voices echoing off the walls, the kind of electric energy that had become almost routine whenever Alex stepped on court. She had just beaten Serena Saustia in a confident performance, earning herself a spot in the quarterfinals for the very first time at that prestigious event, making history as the first Filipino player ever to reach that stage in Dubai. It was a massive moment. But the moment that actually went viral wasn't a backhand winner or dramatic tiebreak. It was something far more human. As Alex was making her way through the player exit area, acknowledging the fans, soaking in the atmosphere, a woman in the crowd held up a handwritten sign. Simple, straight to the point. It read, "Alex, marry my son, please." The crowd saw it. Alex saw it. And in that split second, rather than looking embarrassed or uncomfortable or caught off guard, she smiled wide, shook her head, and delivered a firm, playful finger wag that basically said, "Not today." The crowd absolutely lost it. The laughter, the cheers, the phones going up to capture the moment, all of it turned a small off-court episode into a clip that racked up millions of views in a matter of hours. It was real, it was charming, and it showed a version of Alex that people couldn't get enough of. Not the competitor, not the champion, just a 20-year-old who handled an unexpected moment with more personality and grace than most people manage in their entire professional careers. That video spread across every platform imaginable. People couldn't stop watching it. And while it felt like just a fun, light-hearted moment at the time, it did something quietly powerful. It planted a question in the back of everyone's mind. It introduced an idea. And when the engagement rumors started circulating weeks later, that Dubai moment came rushing back into the conversation with a completely different energy. Suddenly, People weren't replaying it for laughs anymore. They were replaying it for context. And that's the thing about speculation. It doesn't need facts to grow. It just needs possibilities. And once those possibilities are floating around in the air, once the idea has been introduced, even something as innocent as a headshake can start to feel like a clue. Which brings us to another chapter of this story, one that had already played out months before the engagement rumors even began. Back in March 2025, when Alex was in the middle of her absolutely historic run at the Miami Open, something else was happening in parallel that had fans buzzing. Coleman Wong, a fellow rising star and longtime friend from their shared days training at the Rafael Nadal Academy in Mallorca, was also tearing through the ATP draw at the same tournament. Both of them were doing things that had never been done before, making history for their respective countries, producing results that nobody had predicted. And naturally, in the middle of all that, people started wondering, were they just friends, or was there something more? The rumors moved fast. The photos of them together resurfaced. The social media connections got analyzed. And then someone asked Alex directly, in a press conference, right after one of the biggest wins of her career at that point. And she didn't blink. She shut it down clearly, directly, and without leaving any room for interpretation. He was not her boyfriend at that time. But even as she said it, she made a point of talking about him with genuine warmth and admiration, calling his achievements an inspiration, not just to her but to everyone watching. That balance, the way she could address the noise without letting it define her, revealed something important about her character. She doesn't run from the conversation. She just refuses to be swallowed by it. And yet, even after that clear answer, the curiosity never really went away. Because here is the thing about becoming as visible as Eala has become in such a short amount of time. When you go from relative unknown to one of the most talked about names in world tennis in the span of a single tournament, the public appetite for your story doesn't just cover your match results anymore. It extends to everything. Every post, every caption, every interaction, every person you're photographed near. People want to know the whole picture. And some of them, a growing number of them, are very willing to fill in the parts they don't actually know with the parts they imagine. That's not a criticism. That's just the reality of modern fame, especially at a level that Alex has reached in a country as deeply invested in a journey as the Philippines. Because for millions of Filipino fans, this isn't just a tennis story. This is a national story. She is the first Filipino to break into the WTA top 30. The first to win a Grand Slam main draw match in the Open era. The first to reach a WTA 1000 semifinal. When she walks on court, thousands of fans travel hours just to be in the building. At the 2026 Australian Open, the BBC reported that crowds of Filipino supporters created a line that stretched several hundred yards through Melbourne Park just to watch her play a first-round match. That is not the reaction of a casual fan base. That is the response of people who feel personally connected to every single thing she does, on the court and off it. So when a rumor about her personal life begins to circulate, it doesn't stay contained. It doesn't get a quiet correction and a gentle fading out. It explodes, because for her fans, her happiness isn't just a business. It feels shared. It feels like something worth celebrating, something worth caring about deeply, even before anyone has confirmed whether there's anything to celebrate at all. But the story took yet another turn, one that reveals something uncomfortable about the digital world Eala now lives in. Because as it turns out, she has spent a significant amount of time in recent months dealing with the fallout of completely fabricated stories about her life. She acknowledged it herself, after her exit from the Philippine Women's Open earlier this year, saying plainly that she was aware of the growing volume of fake news content circulating about her online. AI-generated photos, made-up stories, sensational headlines designed not to inform anyone but to generate clicks and advertising revenue on the back of her name. One piece of content that circulated widely showed her supposedly embracing a terminally ill fan who had sold his motorcycle to attend her match. The man in the story was not real. The photos were artificially generated. And the detail that gave it away to anyone paying close attention was that the images showed her signing a ball with her right hand, when in reality, she is left-handed. Alex called it concerning, not just because it misrepresented her, but because she could see how easily people accepted it as truth. How it got thousands of likes before anyone paused to check a single fact. She encouraged her fans to seek out reliable sources and think critically before sharing. A remarkably composed response for someone who is, after all, still only 20 years old. And this is the world in which the engagement rumor was born and spread. A landscape where fabricated stories about Eala already had a proven audience. Where people were already primed to believe dramatic, emotional content about her life without demanding evidence first. Where a misleading caption, a misread post, or a carefully worded YouTube video could trigger a global wave of emotion before any journalist had the chance to verify a single claim. The post that supposedly set off the engagement speculation was open to interpretation from the start. The captions that people believe they saw may never have said what viewers assumed they said. And by the time any of that skepticism had a chance to settle in, the story had already taken on a life entirely its own. Hashtags had trended. Celebrities had been tagged. Fans had congratulated her publicly. And the emotional investment was so high that when the verification never came, when no official statement followed, when the confirmation everyone was waiting for simply didn't arrive, the excitement slowly curdled into something more uncomfortable. Uncertainty, doubt,